What up, ADG? Man, I got a message for you guys today, so it might be a little bit long. Hang with me, but I'm going to tell you guys a story. I'm going to title this video, My Rookie Year. My rookie year, man, the very first year that I spent full-time running the business that I created. Now, I have a head cold, so if I sneeze during the video, forgive me. I felt like I should get the message out. June 3rd will make 1 year when I walked away from the job and I came to run the company that I founded and created and built full-time. We built it. I didn't just build it, we built it. But before I go into that, I want to back up a little bit, maybe 8 months, something like that, before I went full-time and kind of give you the backstory of why I decided to do it when I did it. So we back up to December of 2020 and I lost my uncle. My uncle passed away. My uncle was like a father to me, right? And it just crushed me. I was crushed inside. And it was the first trigger that I had that said, why am I going to live another day of my life not doing what I felt like I was called to do, okay? Sometimes God doesn't call those who are qualified. He qualifies those who are called. And I felt called to do something, and I was throwing resistance up. That was my first clue. Second clue was in January. Right? My wife was in a car wreck, totaled the car. She was out of work for 3 months. Shortly after that, one of my mentors, Blue Ribbon Motors, Bruce, who I detailed cars for years, got sick, passed away, stage 4 cancer. And my eyes were open at that point. It's like, all right, you're not getting any younger. Maybe it's time to start focusing more on this thing that you say you love, this thing that you created, that you're kind of playing with kind of half in and half out because you're still working a job. So while my wife was off for those 3 months, of course, I'm carrying the whole load, all of our bills, in which, by the way, I was the breadwinner anyway, for the most part, at my job. $60,000 a year, health insurance, the whole thing. I had the job that every truck driver ever wanted. Gravy job, piece of cake. It was the best job, best truck driving job I ever had. But I knew there was something bigger. I knew that we had to push the vision forward with American Detailer Garage, but I also knew there was going to be something higher than that, a different level, but I would never know that if we didn't take the chance. So June 3rd of last year, I walked away from the job, left the job, and started running this thing 100% full time. This video is about what I learned along the way, the last 12 months of what I learned. Now, you got to understand, I've been involved in some capacity in the auto detail industry for 25 years. So this should be a piece of cake. And Beth and I talked about this before I left the job. I said, yep, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to leave the job, go home. We're going to start our YouTube stuff, get that stuff going, get the podcast going. And this thing's just going to be peachy because I know what I'm doing. You got to remember, I'd already ran ADG for 4 years before I left my truck driving job, okay? So I come home, bam, immediately I was met with force. The force average will creep in and ask you, are you sure this is what you want to do? I was tested early on. And what I mean by tested, like the first 2 weeks, the pool pump went out. I had an appliance go out. Pool pump went out. My computer that I run my business with went out. Apple computer went out. I had to drive an hour to the Apple store. That was $600 just right out of the gate. So I spent like $1,500 fixing all these things in the first month that I left my job. So I was tested early. Are you sure this is what you want to do? Well, I knew that's what I wanted to do. But let me tell you guys something, all right? And I use this analogy a lot with women's clothing. Like when women go to buy a dress or they buy an outfit, and they tell you, so you better love it, because if you don't love it, you might not wear it. But if you love it, you'll wear it. If you don't love it, it might hang in your closet. I use that same analogy with business. You better be so over the top in love with what you do that you want to seek a higher level, because you're going to get tested and there's going to be times along the way when you want to quit. But when I first came home, I was charged up, but I met resistance very, very quickly. Resistance meaning things that pop up, get in the way, cloud you. And you have to understand, I was nowhere near the person I am today, so I didn't know how to navigate my way through this. I'm distracted. I'm over here. I'm lashing out. I'm on Facebook. I'm doing all these things. And all the things I thought were going to be simple were actually very, 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 very difficult. Right? See, I hadn't mastered the art of the mentality of staying focused because I didn't have to. I had a cushion. I had a golden parachute, if you will, for my job. I had a safety net. When I walked away from the job, I no longer had a safety net. And a panic will set in too. Panic will set in and cause you to freak out like that cat with the claws out. You're just freaking out. Like, what do I do next? I call it paralysis by analysis. You don't do anything because you're thinking, what do I do next? So some of the things that I learned along the way is persistence. Being persistent is going to pay off. Consistency is going to pay off. When I first came home, I was charged up. I was motivated. I was excited. And I'm doing things and I'm learning all this. Remember. I've detailed cars for 25 years. I've drove a truck for 21 years. I had virtually no computer experience. Didn't know what marketing was. I just knew that I ran this thing for 4 years and I was going to come home and it was going to be cupcakes and rainbows, and it was anything but that, all right? So very quickly I was met with resistance. Now I had to learn this new thing that I didn't know. Now I know how to detail a car. I know how to drive a truck. I can put product in a bottle and I can make videos. But what if I told you all those things lead up to about this much of what the overall business requires of you, okay? It was much, much bigger. And to some degree, I was probably underqualified to run this company. I appreciate you guys for hanging with me, but I'm just telling you the way it really is, the way it really worked for me. There was no safety net. There was nobody to run to get money. See, when I had a job, I could have qualified for any loan that I wanted. I could have just went and got a loan, fund the company. But once you leave that job and you come home to run the business, it doesn't work like that. And for those that don't know, we started this company with $2,500, okay? Ran that for a few months, ran out of that, and I sold a motorcycle and I sold a SCAR rifle and my sniper rifle to keep it going. We just pumping money into this thing to keep it going. So it was exhilarating to know that the sacrifice that you put in to build a company, now you get to come home and run it full time, only to realize it's like starting all over again. All right. And sometimes the pressure can be overwhelming. I had to learn how to handle pressure, how to manage pressure. See, there's a difference between handling pressure and managing pressure. Handling pressure means, all right, it is what it is. Managing pressures is being able to think through and execute while pressure is coming on you. I have distributors, big distributors, who expect me to be, who I'm supposed to be. See, they all run successful businesses, right? So how could I be a fraud? I better step up to the plate and do the job. A ton of pressure comes down. Handling pressure is one thing. Managing pressure is completely something different. So I was tested early on. I learned perseverance. I learned how to handle pressure. I learned how to manage pressure along the way. All right, but there was another thing that I learned too, right? As I learned that the brand ultimately stands out above everything else. You would think that I would know this after all these years. But here I am on social media teeing off on people, just throwing emotion out there. And I do have a ton of emotion. My emotion doesn't come from anger. My emotion comes from passion. But it wasn't serving me, right? It wasn't serving me. Maybe it was serving some people, but it was not serving me internally, so much so that it got me deplatformed from Facebook. Back in January 5th of this year, got completely deplatformed, meaning all the articles that I wrote, all the videos that I made, everything that I ever did on social media wiped out, which was another setback mentally, okay? So I had to start thinking about, do I even want to do this anymore? And you guys probably notice I'm not on Facebook a whole lot anymore. It's not because I don't want to be. It's because I have to run this company, right? You guys are buying into what we do, what we make, and you're trying to run your detailing business. It's my job to make sure that we put out the best product that we can. So most of the time, I don't have time really to be on Facebook. But adversity, I've learned how to overcome adversity. These are things I didn't know, okay? When you work a job, you just go through the day, you come home, the day sucks. But check this out. What if I told you in business, one thing that messes up, and we've had plenty, FedEx lost a $10,000 check that we sent out to our blender. 10 grand, just lost it. And it pissed me off. So in a job, that might ruin your day. In business, that has to just ruin the moment. You got to pick up and keep moving forward. All right. And going back to pressure. So I have distributors. Where's my product? Blenders. Where's my money? Distributors. Where's my money? Because I buy from Ian. Obviously, you guys know. These people want to get paid too. And sometimes things happen, things pop up. And it just, I can't tell you everything in this video. Okay. And it's not the purpose of the video to tell you a whole bunch of drama, but I'm telling you, that's how it is. What you guys see, this thing is just one sector. What it takes to hold this damn thing up. It's the heaviest weight I've ever held in my entire life. Something that I'm supposed to be good at. Something that I should know when I came out of the truck and came home. Like, this is going to be automatic, and it hasn't happened that way, okay? And I'm telling you why in the house. So I've learned to manage pressure. I've learned to manage setbacks. I've learned that when things happen, it can't ruin your day. It can't deplete your day because there are people who count on you, who depend on you, right? So why would you be pissed off and take your anger and frustration out on everybody else? So the Facebook deplatforming thing actually taught me that, all right? Taught me that everything that happens to you is not always a negative. There's an underlying lesson in that. And probably it is to create all new content and make it better than it was to begin with. Would you agree? All right? So I'm going to tell you this, man. I've learned more in 1 year running ADG full-time than I learned probably in the last 10 years working a job. So for my people out there that will watch this video and you're out there working a job and you're thinking about leaving your full-time job to pursue your passion, man, there are positives and there are negatives, okay? And it really is like a graphic equalizer. And it's all in how you adjust these knobs. But you have to be open to it. Number one, you have to love what you're doing. Be very, very passionate about it. Number two, you got to be open to be able to adjust these things, handling pressure. But if you do that and you stay the course, you'll learn more running your own thing full time than you will working at a job, depending on what you're doing. If you're a computer scientist, maybe that's not the case, right? But I'm just telling you from my perspective, it's my story from what I've learned. Some of you guys have been with us for a long time with ADG before the product line. So I'm just telling you what it's like. And again, I sit back here and I think about this. You know, what an amazing thing it is. Gratitude, right, is another thing. Gratitude. I didn't know anything about gratitude. So when I think about gratitude, when I have bad days, I think about what an amazing thing it is to come up with an idea, plant that idea in soil, and build a company out of it, build a business to one day be able to leave that job that you hate, because I didn't no fulfillment, okay? To come home and run this thing that you created just a few years ago, right? So, you know, bad days, a lot of times you learn more during bad days than you will on good days. And let me say that again. You'll learn more if you're open to it on bad days. You'll learn more from that than you will on the good days when things are just easy. Bad days will teach you lessons, but you got to calm down. I'm a hothead. I want things done now. I'm a perfectionist. They got to be perfect and now. And that's not the way life works. Nothing I'll tell you guys, man, you're never going to know it all. You're never going to know it all. So if you want good friends and good mentors, develop yourself and become the type of person that would attract that mentor that will get you to the next level. You might know people that are where you want to go or along the path of where you want to go, okay? But let me tell you something. High-level people are only there to help people who help themselves. High-level people will only take time with you and not waste their time, but spend their time with you as long as you're committed to the cause too and you execute on the ideas, all right? Otherwise, they're just wasting their time, and time is the most valuable resource there is because you can't get it back. So if you want to learn and you want to grow, become the kind of person that attracts those people into your life, because people that are really winning on a high level, highly successful people, remember, fulfillment. We're going to say this word over and over again. Fulfillment is what they don't need money. They want fulfillment. Fulfillment to them is helping somebody else up, so they want to help other people up. But they don't want a sandbag that's going to drag it down. You can't make excuses, all right? Making excuses opens the door to failure, and failure loves to come in and just wreck your whole house like a tornado. Those are a few of the things that I learned coming home from my full-time job on my rookie year. And I'm going to tell you guys something else, man. I could drive a truck real good. I could detail a car real good. I suppose you guys think that, you know, I'm really good at branding and ADG. A lot of this stuff happened by mistake. But all these things I was really good at, I come home and realize I'm not very good at the other things that make the whole thing go around. So this video is 12 minutes and 56 seconds. I'm sure I could go on probably another 20 minutes. I hope that you guys will take the time and watch this video. And again, if there's somebody out there that's working a job that they hate and they want to move out of that job into like something they love to do, a passion that they want, I'll tell you two things. This is something I did not do. I didn't do this. But if I had known now what I knew then, this is what I would have done. It's very simple. On a piece of paper on the left side, I want you to write down your qualities, your standards of who you are. Who am I as a person? What am I? What are my values? What do I stand for? And on the right side of that paper, write down your goals. Where do I want to go? What do I want my life to look like? What do I want my family to feel like? What I want them to look like? And it's really connect the dots. And you just draw the correlation right there as the answers for you. But you won't know if you never get started. And another thing I'll tell you guys, as much as I'd love to sit here and blow the 8 about this great, amazing brand, if you only knew the half of it. If you knew how much we fail more than we succeed. We just don't tell you guys all that stuff. But the one thing that I wish I'd have known is how to do that and make it right in front of you. Because what's going to happen is you're going to jump out there and you're going to take on this adventure that you love, that you're passionate about, and you're going to get slapped in the face. You're going to get tested. Force the average is going to come in and backhand you, knock you off your platform, knock you down a couple of notches, and ask you, are you sure this is what you want? Are you going to quit? Now, see, most people will quit. See, what people don't realize is most people's success is by them becoming better, but other people around them failing. And when it comes to failure and quitting, I'm going to tell you guys something. I got it right there. Set a goal so big, you can't achieve it until you become the person who can, all right? But along that way, you'll want to quit. There are times I wanted to quit. There are times I sat and told my wife, I said, why are we doing this, right? I'm not sure I love this anymore. I'll be honest with you guys. There were times when I told Beth, I said, I don't know that this is what I want to do anymore. I don't know that I love it as much as I used to. that goes back to you better love it or you won't wear it, right? And so I'll quit tomorrow. You know, I'll hang it up tomorrow. A couple of my friends, they'll tell you, you know, I've talked to Marcus Parsley. We're really good friends. There's times when I told him, I just don't want to do it anymore, Marcus. I don't know. But I'm always committed to going one more day. One more day. If I can make it through today, I can quit tomorrow. But let me think about it again tomorrow, run it through my head. And then what happens, I just push forward one day, one day. You might have weeks that go by that suck. Weeks that just beat you into the ground, all right? And maybe that's another video for another time on how to take your life that's in shambles, all the things coming down on you, twisting that around just to stay on top when you feel like you can't breathe. Faith, family, fitness, and finance, right? That's one of them. But that is my story in a short form of my rookie season, my rookie year, 1 year running the business that I founded and created for 12 months. And I'm happy with the outcome. I appreciate you guys. And I said something earlier when I left my job. I said, there's no safety net, right? Your safety net is in the value that you create and produce for other people. My safety net, for lack of a better words, are my customer base. You guys are the ones ultimately that support us now. Ultimately, to some degree, you're our boss, right? You tell us what you expect in a product, chemical, company, service, and all that. And we've made many mistakes along the way. We hope that we've made them right for you guys. If you're watching the video, there's things we've screwed up on, and we try to make them right, all right? But so be willing to make mistakes. If you're ever going to go out there and do something that's worth doing, be willing to make mistakes, because I promise you in the long run, you're going to look back on it and you're going to pay. Whether you go to college, if you go to college, you're going to go to college, come out with $50,000, $100,000 student loan, okay? You're going to have to pay that back. When you're in business, just look at these things as you're paying it as you go, right? You're paying it as you go. These are lessons that you're paying for as you go along. And hopefully you don't make the same mistake twice and you continue to get better and better and better. And I'll leave you with this. One of the analogies that I use in business is whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole. We have so many things going on, right? And Michael Butt, some of you guys have been here. Mike Mazanet has been here. And I show you all the different things that we have going on with ADG. There's so many things going on. I call it whack-a-mole. So business, at least from my perspective with ADG, is like whack-a-mole. Every time the whack-a-mole pops up, you smack him down. And these are problems. There's always going to be problems. People will tell you, as you get better, you know, problems go away. Problems never go away. You just get better at solving them. And as you get better at solving them, you get bigger problems, and you learn how to solve bigger problems. So the same analogy that goes with whack-a-mole and knocking those problems down as they come up, I would reverse the same analogy and say you have 100 balloons, all right, out here floating around, and they're going to hit the ground. And you're running around trying to keep that balloon from hitting the ground, because that balloon hitting the ground means failure. You let a customer down. You didn't pay this bill or something. So you're running around trying to keep all these balloons up in the air, all the while trying to go on social media and make videos like this to inspire other people. Hope this video will inspire you guys. And once again, if you're somebody out there looking to leave the job that you hate to do something that you love, I'd love to talk to you. Reach out to me on Messenger. We'll jump on a phone call. It's not easy, okay? Even if you love it, it's not easy. But I just have a feeling, I know it's going to be worth it in the long run. Thank you guys for watching this 18-minute video. If it didn't matter, I wouldn't have made the video. Hope it inspires one of you guys. Stay in the fight. I'll talk to you soon.